I know it hurts, Dr. Lin Chen said, her voice tight. Third time this month. More excuses about falls and bumps. I need to document this. Maya's hand shot up, gripping her arm. No photos. Please. Lin set the ice pack down. These are just for your record. A precaution. She met Maya's terrified gaze. At 24, she should have been glowing. Instead, bruises stained her skin like ink. Her eye was swollen shut, her wrist fractured. He'll know, Maya whispered. David always knows. He won't, Lin promised, squeezing her hand. But you deserve evidence. You deserve choices. Reluctantly, Maya nodded, and Lin reached for her camera. What she didn't know was that a tracker in Maya's wallet was already leading David Miller straight to her office. And she definitely didn't know the building's owner had been looking for a reason to meet her. Thorne didn't believe in chance. When his security chief, Silas, entered with a tablet at 9:45 p.m., Elijah was already listening. The feed showed David Miller, a spoiled heir with a reputation, pacing outside Lin's closed office. He's been there 25 minutes, Silas said. She's alone with a patient. Elijah stood, his gray eyes cold. Get the car. Elijah was already standing, smoothing his suit jacket with deliberate care. Get the car. Do you want a team? No. The word was absolute. Elijah had built his fortune on knowing when to delegate and when to handle things himself. Something about this scenario set his instincts alight. Maybe it was the way Miller kept clenching and unclenching his fists, rage in every rigid line of his body. Maybe it was because Elijah had noticed Dr. Lin Chen 4 months ago when she'd leased the space, had caught himself watching the security feeds more often than necessary, had memorized her routine like a man possessed. He'd built his reputation on being decisive, on making the tough calls that kept his family's vast network operational. But he'd also built it on safeguarding what was under his care. And whether Lin Chen realized it or not, she'd become his responsibility the moment she'd thanked the janitor by name. The elevator ride to the 3rd floor took 29 seconds. Elijah counted them, using the time to slip into the cool, analytical mindset that had kept him dominant in a world where sentiment was a liability. The hallway was empty when he stepped out, quiet except for the muffled sound of voices behind Dr. Chen's door. One voice rising, male and furious. The other trying to remain steady, professional, but Elijah could hear the strain beneath. He moved silently, reaching the door just as David Miller's voice sliced through the wood. You think you can hide her? You think a few snapshots in a computer file are going to keep her from me? Elijah didn't knock. He simply turned the handle. These older buildings had locks he could bypass in his sleep, and stepped inside. The scene that greeted him made something cold and fierce twist in his gut. Dr. Lin Chen stood protectively in front of a young woman curled on the examination table, arms wrapped around herself. Lin's dark hair was escaping its neat knot. Her white coat was askew, and she clutched her phone like a talisman. But it was her eyes that caught Elijah. Dark, intelligent eyes blazing with defiance, even as her free hand trembled. David Miller had his back to the door, his arm raised. That's enough, Elijah said, his voice quiet but filling the room. The temperature seemed to drop. Miller spun around, his face flushed with an anger that drained away the instant he recognized who stood in the doorway. Mr. Thorne. Miller's voice wavered. This is private. A family matter. Elijah let his gaze slide past Miller to the woman on the table. She was weeping silently, a fresh cut on her lip. Then he looked at Lin, truly looked at her, and saw a courage he recognized, the kind that meant standing your ground when every instinct screamed to flee. In my building, Elijah said, each word measured. Nothing is private. Dr. Chen pays rent. That makes her concerns my concerns. He took one step forward. Just one. Miller stumbled back as if pushed. My wife is here. I have every right, your wife? Elijah glanced at Maya again, taking in the bruises, the fear. She is a patient receiving medical care. You have no rights here. He drew his phone from his pocket with his left hand, keeping his right free. In his world, you never knew when you'd need to reach for the weapon at your back. You have two choices, David. You can leave now, quietly. Or I can have my associates escort you out. And we both know that wouldn't be quiet at all. The unspoken threat lingered. Everyone in Atlanta knew what Elijah Thorne's associates were capable of. The Thorne family had influenced the city's landscape for decades through a mix of legitimate enterprises and ventures the authorities could never quite pin down. Miller's jaw tightened, his hands curling into fists. For a second, Elijah thought he might be foolish enough to try something. Almost hoped he would. But then Miller's gaze darted to Lin, pure malice in his eyes. This isn't over. Actually, Elijah said, his voice dropping to a register that made strong men reconsider. It is. If you come near this building again, if you approach Dr. Chen or your wife again, there won't be a discussion. There will just be consequences. Do we understand each other? Miller paled. He gave one jerky, furious nod, then fled like the coward he was. The silence he left behind felt brittle. Lin's phone clattered onto the counter as her hands began to shake in earnest. The adrenaline was fading, Elijah realized. Shock was setting in. He'd seen it before. Maya, Lin said, her voice rough. We need to get you somewhere safe. I know a shelter, no. Maya shook her head violently, wincing. No shelters. He'll find me. He always does. She's right, Elijah said, drawing both women's attention. David Miller has resources and contacts. A public shelter would be the first place he'd look. He studied Maya for a moment. I have a place in the Buckhead district. Private, secure. You can stay there as long as necessary. Lin stepped forward, positioning herself between Elijah and her patient in a move that would have been futile if it wasn't so brave. She barely reached his shoulder, yet she stared up at him with those dark eyes now sharp with mistrust. Why would you help us? Why wouldn't I? Because men like you don't do favors without expecting something in return. Elijah felt his lips curve into something that wasn't quite a smile. Interesting. Most people avoided his gaze, let alone challenged him. Men like me? You're Elijah Thorne. She said his name like an indictment. I read the papers. I know who you are, what you are. Then you know I keep my word. He pulled a card from his inner pocket, held it out. When she didn't take it, he set it on the counter. The address is on the back. Entry code is 0923. There's food, clothing, medical supplies. Maya will be safe there while we arrange something more permanent. We? Lin crossed her arms. There's no we. I'm her doctor. I'll handle this. Like you were handling it when David was about to put his fist through your face. Her cheeks flushed, anger sparking, and Elijah felt that cold thing in his chest stir again. She was magnificent, all righteous fire and protective instinct. I had it under control. With your phone? He raised an eyebrow. Were you going to call the police? The same police department that has 2 of David Miller's college friends on the force? The same police who've responded to 5 domestic calls at his address and never made an arrest? Lin's jaw tightened. She knew he was right. Dr. Chen, Maya said softly from the table. Both turned. Please. I'll go to Mr. Thorne's place. Just for tonight. Just until we figure something out. Lin looked torn, her gaze moving between Maya's battered face and Elijah's impassive one. He could see her mind working, weighing risks. She was intelligent. Too smart to trust him, but also too smart to refuse the only real protection available. Fine, she said finally, but I'm coming too. I need to see the place, make sure she's settled. Elijah inclined his head. Silas will drive you. I have something to attend to first. What kind of something? The kind that ensures David Miller understands exactly how serious I was about consequences. Something flickered in Lin's eyes. Not approval, but understanding. A grim acknowledgement that in this shadowed world, safety sometimes required a darker promise. Don't hurt him, she said quietly. I won't be responsible for that. I'm not asking you to be responsible for anything, Dr. Chen. Elijah moved toward the door, paused. But David made a choice when he hurt his wife. He made another when he threatened you. All I'm doing is explaining the repercussions of those choices. He left before she could argue, pulling out his phone as he walked. Silas answered immediately. Boss. Dr. Chen and Maya Miller are going to the Buckhead property. I want 2 men on the door, 2 more on the perimeter. No one gets close without my authorization. Understood. And David Miller? Elijah stepped into the elevator, watched the doors close. His reflection stared back, cold and controlled. Find him. Have a conversation. Make it memorable. How memorable? He should wake up in a hospital. Nothing permanent, but enough that he'll think twice before raising a hand to anyone again. And Silas, make it clear this is just a warning. The next time won't be. Consider it done. Elijah ended the call and allowed himself a moment to feel the rage he'd suppressed since entering the exam room. Men who preyed on the vulnerable were a particular brand of coward he had no tolerance for. In his world, there were codes. You didn't involve civilians. You didn't harm women or children. You conducted business with a certain honor. David Miller had broken every rule that mattered. The drive to his office took 12 minutes. He spent them thinking about Lin Chen. The way she'd held her ground despite her fear, the protective fury in her stance, the sharp intelligence that understood exactly who he was. She was dangerous, not with weapons or ambitions, but dangerous to the rigid control he maintained over his life. Because when he'd seen her, shaking yet unyielding, something had shifted inside him. Something that felt unsettlingly like the beginning of an obsession. Elijah didn't do obsession. He did strategy and calculated alliances. But when he closed his eyes, he saw Lin's face, heard her voice challenging him, felt the pull of her courage. This was going to be complicated. By the time Silas texted to confirm Lin and Maya had arrived safely, Elijah had already pulled David Miller's full financials. 2 trust funds, 4 bank accounts, credit cards maxed out on secret gambling debts. Interesting. The Miller family patriarch, Robert Miller, was old Atlanta money, well-connected, untouchable through normal channels, but David was the spoiled, entitled weak link. Elijah made 3 calls. The first was to a judge. I need a temporary restraining order, leading to permanent. David Miller barred from approaching Maya Miller, Dr. Lin Chen, or the medical building on Peachtree. The second was to his attorney. Draft divorce papers for Maya. Grounds are abuse, documented medically. Protect her interests. No alimony to David. Full asset separation. The third was to a private investigator. David Miller. I want everything. Every secret, every debt, every skeleton. Then Elijah sat back, thinking. David wouldn't let this go. Men like him viewed their wives as possessions. Maya leaving was a blow to his pride, and pride made men reckless. Which meant Lin was now in danger, too. The thought sent a lethal chill through him. He'd meant what he said. In his building, under his watch, she was his to protect. But it was more than that now. The moment she'd stood between Maya and David, she'd proven her bravery. The moment she'd challenged him, she'd proven her fearlessness. And Elijah Thorne protected what was his. His phone buzzed. A text from Silas. Package delivered. He'll remember. Good. Another text from an unknown number. This is Dr. Chen. Maya is settled. Your property is secure. Thank you for your help. We'll be gone by morning. Elijah read the message twice, analyzing the professional tone. The way she'd said, we'll be gone. Like she couldn't wait to escape his orbit. He typed back, you'll stay as long as necessary. David won't give up easily. The reply came faster. That's not your problem. You became my problem when you walked into my building, Dr. Chen. Everything in it is mine to protect. A pause, then, I'm not a possession. Elijah smiled, a real smile that rarely touched his face. No, you're much more interesting than that. No response came. He waited, but his phone stayed silent. The next morning, Elijah arrived at the Buckhead property at 7:15 with coffee and pastries from the bakery Lin favored. He knew it was her favorite because he'd made it his business to know everything about her these past months, where she got her coffee, that she volunteered at a community clinic every Thursday, that she'd moved to Atlanta from a quiet town in Tennessee 7 years ago, and built her practice from scratch. He knew she was 34, unmarried, focused on her work. He knew her parents were gone, and she had a brother in Denver. He knew she was brilliant, compassionate, and stubborn in a way that meant she'd fight for her patients even at her own risk. What he didn't know was how to stop thinking about her. The guard at the door, Marcus, straightened.
Boss.
They're both still asleep. Dr. Chen took the couch. Of course she did. Elijah let himself in quietly. The space was modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a view of the city skyline. Lin was curled on the sofa, still in yesterday's clothes, her hair dark against a cream pillow. There were shadows under her eyes. Elijah set the coffee down and watched her sleep, feeling like an intruder and not caring enough to stop. She had a strong, quiet beauty that deepened the longer you looked. How long have you been standing there? Her voice was sleep-roughened, accusatory. Not long. Elijah moved to the kitchen, poured coffee into 2 mugs. Almond milk, 1 sugar, right? Lin sat up slowly, pushing her hair back.
How do you know that?
I make it my business to know things. He brought her the mug, watched her wrap her hands around it. How's Maya? Sleeping finally. She woke up twice last night. I gave her something for the pain, but the trauma. Lin trailed off, fixing him with a hard look. What did you do to David? I had a discussion with him about consequences. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting. Elijah sat opposite her, keeping distance. David Miller is in the hospital with 2 broken ribs, a fractured cheekbone, and a concussion. He's telling police he was robbed. He won't trouble you or Maya again. Lin's face paled. You said you wouldn't hurt him. No, you said not to hurt him. I said I wasn't asking you to be responsible. There's a difference. Elijah kept his voice level. He beat his wife. He threatened you. He made choices. Those choices have repercussions. That's not on you, doctor. I can't. She set the coffee down, her hands shaking. I can't be part of this. Using violence to end violence. That's not who I am. I know who you are. Elijah leaned forward, holding her gaze. You're a woman who treats patients who can't pay, who works late because you won't turn anyone away, who stands between abusers and victims even when you're scared. I know exactly who you are, Lin Chen. The use of her first name made her flinch.
You don't know anything about me.
I know you came to Atlanta with little more than student debt. I know you could work at any major hospital but choose to run a small practice to really help people. I know you volunteer at the Grant Park Clinic every Thursday. I know that 4 months ago, when you moved into my building, you were the first person in years who looked directly at me and smiled like I was just a man. Lin stood abruptly. This is insane. You've been watching me.
Protecting you.
Elijah rose slowly. Men in my position have enemies, Dr. Chen. I protect what's mine. And whether you accept it or not, you became mine the moment you signed that lease. I'm not yours. Then why are you still here? He moved closer, noting the pulse in her throat. Why did you stay last night? Why text me instead of the police? Because she hesitated, searching for words. Because I knew you could actually protect her. Because the system fails women like Maya every single day, and I needed more than promises and paperwork.
Exactly.
Elijah stopped an arm's length away. You needed someone who operates outside the system. Someone who doesn't follow rules designed to protect men like David.
You needed me.
That doesn't mean I belong to you. No, he agreed quietly. It means I belong to you. The words hung between them, heavy and sincere. Lin's eyes widened.
What?
Elijah reached up slowly, giving her time to retreat, and brushed a stray hair from her cheek. She trembled, but didn't pull away. The moment I saw you on those cameras, standing up to David despite your fear, I knew. The moment I walked into that room and saw you protecting Maya, I knew you were under my skin, Lin. In my head.
In my chest.
And I don't let anyone in. This is crazy. But her voice was a whisper, and she leaned slightly toward him. You don't even know me. I know enough. I know you're brave and brilliant and infuriatingly stubborn.
I know you see people, really see them.
His thumb traced her cheekbone. I know you're everything I never allowed myself to want, because wanting is a vulnerability in my world. Then don't want me. Lin's hand came up, encircling his wrist, but she didn't push him away. I can't be part of your world, Elijah. I save lives. I don't. I can't be connected to whatever it is you do. What I do is protect my family, my business, and now you. Everything else is survival. He turned his hand in her grip, laced their fingers together. I won't apologize for ensuring David understands he can never touch Maya or you again. And I won't apologize for wanting you so much it clouds my judgment. Lin was trembling. This is too fast. 24 hours ago, I didn't know you. 24 hours ago, I was half convinced you were a figment of my imagination from staring at too much security footage. Elijah smiled, an unfamiliar softness on his face. But you're real, and I'm asking you for a chance to prove I'm more than the monster you think I am. I don't think you're a monster. The admission seemed to startle her as much as him. I think you're dangerous. I think you live in a world I don't understand. But when you walked in last night, the first thing I felt was relief. Safe. You made me feel safe. Then trust that feeling. He brought their joined hands to his chest, letting her feel his heartbeat. Trust me to keep you safe. Keep Maya safe. Let me do what I'm good at. And what am I supposed to do? Just accept that you've decided I'm yours?
No.
Elijah's smile widened. You're supposed to argue with me, challenge me, drive me absolutely insane with your refusal to back down. You're supposed to be exactly who you are, while I do everything in my power to show you that being mine isn't a cage. It's a partnership. Before she could answer, a door opened down the hall. Maya emerged, dwarfed in borrowed clothes, her face a patchwork of bruises in the morning light.
She froze. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt. You're not interrupting. Lin pulled her hand from Elijah's, creating professional space, though her touch lingered. How are you feeling?
Sore. Scared.
Maya hugged herself. Is it true? Is David in the hospital? Elijah answered.
Yes.
He won't bother you again. You don't know him like I do.
He'll, Maya.
Elijah's voice softened. I've dealt with men like David my whole life. Bullies who think power comes from fear. He's a coward. Now he knows you have people who will fight for you. That changes everything. Maya's eyes welled. Why are you doing this? You don't know me. Because Dr. Chen cares about you. That's enough. Lin made a soft, choked sound. I need to check Maya's injuries in better light, she said, her doctor's tone returning. The master bath has good lighting.
Take your time.
Elijah moved toward the door. I'll have breakfast brought in. Any dietary restrictions? We can't stay here, Lin protested. Maya needs security while we handle the legal matters. Divorce papers are being prepared. A restraining order will be filed today. Elijah looked at Maya. You're welcome here as long as you need. No strings. Just safety. Maya looked at Lin, who looked at Elijah with an unreadable expression. Thank you, Maya whispered. I don't know how to repay you. You don't repay kindness. You pass it on when you can. That's how it works. He left before the emotion could overwhelm his control. Outside, Silas waited by the car. David Miller made bail an hour ago. His father paid. Expected. Elijah got in. The restraining order? Judge will have it by noon. The photos Dr. Chen took are compelling.
Good.
And the investigation? Silas's expression turned grim. You'll want to see this. He handed over a tablet. Elijah scrolled, his jaw tightening. David wasn't just an abuser. He was drowning in debt. Gambling debts to dangerous people. People who made Elijah's organization look tame. He owes the Vlasic Group $275,000. Due in 10 days. Word is, if he doesn't pay, they take collateral. His wife was the collateral. Ice shot through Elijah's veins. The Vlasic Group were merciless, involved in trafficking and extortion. They had no code. He was going to sell Maya. That's my assessment, yes. Elijah's grip threatened to crack the tablet. Get me a meeting with Anton Vlasic today. I'll pay David's debt, plus a premium, in exchange for them forgetting Maya exists. Sir, the Vlasics aren't reasonable. I'm not asking them to be reasonable. I'm telling them that Maya Miller is under my protection, and touching her means war with me. Anton is smart enough to know he doesn't want that. Silas nodded. I'll set it up. And David? David is about to learn that the beating was the gentle warning. If he doesn't sign those divorce papers and leave Atlanta, I'll hand him to Anton myself.
Let him settle his own debts.
Understood. And Dr. Chen? Elijah looked back at the property. Dr. Chen is under my protection. Make sure everyone knows it. The meeting with Anton Vlasic took place in a forgotten warehouse in an industrial zone. Elijah arrived with Silas and 2 others. Anton brought a small squad. Anton was a thick-necked man with eyes that held no warmth, covered in ink that told a history of violence. He grinned, showing a gold tooth. Elijah Thorne, this is a surprise. David Miller owes you money. $275,000.
Yes.
Plus interest. Anton's grin widened. His wife is pretty. She'd work it off quickly. Maya Miller is under my protection. You touch her, you touch me. Clear? Anton's smile faded. The Thorne family has no claim. I'm making the claim now. I'll pay the debt, $300,000 total, for your inconvenience. In exchange, you forget she exists. And if I refuse, then we have a problem, Anton. The kind that ruins business for everyone. Anton studied him. This woman must be special for you to pay another man's debts. She's under my protection. That's all you need. Not the wife, the doctor. Anton's eyes gleamed. I hear things. The good Dr. Chen, who treats anyone. I hear she stitched up one of my guys last month, no questions asked. Elijah's blood ran cold. Your point?
My point is you're not doing this for the wife.
You're doing it for the doctor, which means she's important. Very important. Take the money or don't, Anton. But if you even think about using Lin Chen to get to me, I will dismantle everything you've built and salt the earth. Understood? The warehouse fell silent. Finally, Anton laughed, a harsh sound. I like your style. $300,000 and the girl is forgotten. You have my word. Your word means nothing. I want it in writing. A contract that the Vlasic Group has no claim on Maya Miller or anyone associated with her.
Done.
Anton extended a hand. But Elijah, when that doctor breaks your heart, and women like that always do, don't come crying to me. Elijah shook his hand. The deal sealed. The money transferred. The contract was secured. He returned to the Buckhead property. Lin was in the kitchen cooking. She'd changed, her hair in a ponytail. She looked utterly out of place in his world, and he wanted her anyway. You're back, she said without turning. Maya's sleeping. The pain meds helped.
Good.
She needs it. Elijah leaned against the counter. I paid David's gambling debts today. Lin paused.
What?
He owed money to dangerous people. People who planned to take Maya as payment. I paid them off. Made it clear she's protected. Lin set down the knife, turned. How much? $300,000. Elijah. That's, you can't just, I can. I did. It's done. He moved closer. Maya is safe. David will sign the papers or regret it. The restraining order is filed. She can start over. Because of you. Because you cared enough to fight for her. I just removed the obstacles. Lin's eyes shimmered. I don't know what to say. Say you'll have dinner with me tonight. Just us. Elijah, one dinner. Let me take you somewhere we can talk without all this. Let me show you I can be more than the man who breaks bones and pays off criminals. She studied his face for a long moment. One dinner. But I'm not promising anything. I'm not asking for promises. Just a chance. That night, Elijah took Lin to an exclusive restaurant atop a downtown tower. He'd reserved the entire place. She wore a simple navy dress, elegant and professional. You rented out the whole restaurant, she said as they were seated overlooking the city. I wanted privacy. This is extreme. I'm an extreme man when it comes to what matters. He ordered wine he knew she'd like. Tell me about yourself, Lin Chen. The real story. She smiled. That's a terrible line. I've never needed lines before. I just look at women and they fall. Usually, I don't look at all. Then you moved into my building and became all I could see. Lin blushed, sipped her wine. I grew up in a small town in Tennessee. My parents died when I was in college. My brother helped me through med school. I came to Atlanta to make a difference. To help people the system overlooks. Why Atlanta? It's big enough to matter, but you can still find community here. I wanted to prove I could build something myself. She met his eyes. Why did you stay in your family's business? Who says it isn't legitimate? At her look, he smiled. My father built an empire. When he died, I inherited not just a business, but a community that depends on it. I could have walked away, but that would have meant abandoning people. I protect what's mine, even if that means sometimes crossing lines. In my world, strength is the language you use to shield those who can't shield themselves. He reached for her hand. I know it's not your world. You save lives. I sometimes have to end them, but we're not so different. You stand between patience and suffering. I stand between chaos and order. We both sacrifice. We both care too much to walk away. Lin was quiet, her hand warm in his. You're good at making the dark sound necessary. I'm not trying to pretty it up. My world is dark, but there is light in it, too. Family's safe. Justice served when the law fails. I can give you that light without asking you to live in my shadows.
How?
By being your protection. By handling the ugly things so you never have to. By ensuring you never have to be afraid for yourself or your patients. His thumb stroked her palm. Let me be the monster, so you can stay the angel. I'm not an angel.
To me, you are.
Let me cherish you as you deserve. Lin's breath caught. You're dangerous. Only to threats. I'm not yours. Not yet. But you will be. He said it with certainty. You'll fight it. You'll know this is complicated. But eventually you'll see that complicated doesn't mean wrong. That protection isn't possession. That being mine means being cherished. Loved with an intensity most people never know. Loved? Her voice was a whisper. I'm falling in love with you, Lin Chen. Have been for months. Elijah stood, went to her side, knelt beside her chair. I know it's fast. I know it's insane. A smart woman should run. But I'm asking you to be brave one more time. Brave enough to let someone protect you. Brave enough to accept you deserve to be cherished. Tears fell. What if I break your heart? She asked. Then it was worth it. Lin cupped his face. You're insane. Probably. Is that a yes? It's a I'm terrified, but I can't walk away. It's a if you hurt me, I'll make you pay. Elijah smiled, kissing her palm. I can work with that. He stood, drawing her up, and kissed her, gently, then deeply. When they parted, breathless, Lin laughed shakily. We're really doing this? Unless you want to stop. I should. This is crazy. And perfect. It's perfect, he whispered. You're perfect. 3 months later, Maya's divorce was final. She was healing, safe in her own life. David was gone. Lin had moved in with Elijah after he'd proposed. She kept her practice. She came home to him. This is insane, she said on the balcony, his ring on her finger. 6 months ago, you were a stranger. A small wedding, he said, kissing her temple. Your small is 75 people. A compromise. 60. She laughed. How did this happen? You took photos. I walked in and saw a woman brave enough to stand against the world. The rest was inevitable. Nothing is inevitable. This was. You were. He turned her face to his. I love you, Dr. Lin Thorne. She kissed him. My dangerous, overprotective man. I'm lucky you're brave enough to let me love you, he said, serious now. That's not crazy. That's courage. We'll be okay? Better than okay. We'll be extraordinary. He drew her up. Dance with me. There's no music. There's always music when I'm with you. So they danced as night fell. A doctor and a protector. 2 people who fit. In Elijah's controlled life, Lin was his one beautiful surprise. His heart, walking outside his chest. He would do anything to keep it safe. But she didn't need grand gestures. She just needed him. So that's what he gave her. Because the photographs weren't just evidence. They were the beginning of everything. Proof that the man who walks through your door in the darkest hour isn't always a monster. Sometimes, he's just been waiting his whole life to find someone worth being human for.